right, we're back at it again with another video. This one is going to be a banger, man, because a lot of people talk about this subject all the time, and I have a lot to say. And before I get into the nitty gritty about this topic, I just want to preface, y'all know I love y'all. Y'all know, all three of y'all that watch these videos, I love y'all, and this is not coming from a place of malice, and it's not coming from a place of like shame, trying to like push shame onto you at all, ever. But it's important that if you care about somebody, you tell them the truth, right? And not on that whole cliche, the truth will set you free, but like it kind of does. Some people just genuinely aren't aware, right? And I feel like it's so important. So the topic that we're going to discuss today is anxiety. Anxiety as a whole, but financial anxiety especially, because if you saw the thumbnail, I'm sure you see like down 200 grand, like that's a lot of money for a lot of people, right? So I want to I don't know if I'll be able to get into the nitty gritty. I don't know how long this video is. I don't want to bore y'all to tears, but I want to talk about my story and also talk to you guys about how you can deal with the anxieties that you have in your life, especially surrounding money, to be able to live a richer, a fuller, a more fulfilled life, the life that you envision for yourself, right? Because it's so annoying. In my early 20s, I remember I would sit down in my dorm and I'd be like, man, I want to live a life like this. And then every day my life just was not, I didn't have, the car, the house, the assets, the prestige, all the things that I wanted the most. I just didn't have them. And it's not a knock on me, but it was so frustrating, and I kept being anxious all the time, like, oh my God, what's going on? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with the situation? What am I doing wrong? And had I known then what I know now, man, I could have saved myself a lot of sweaty, sleepless nights and discomfort, right? And speaking of discomfort, that kind of brings me into my first point, okay? So something that I need you guys to understand when it comes to anxiety surrounding money, and just surrounding life in general, is that discomfort is seeking you at all times. You are always being chased by something. Your day could be going perfect and then bam, flat tire, or bam, a bill in the mail, or bam, you get fired, or your kids are doing something crazy in school and now they're looking at you sideways as a parent. Or it could be, for every one example I give, there's 50 more examples that are, 50 times worse. And the thing that I've noticed consistently that I was doing wrong, and that the people who I speak to who are also super anxious are doing wrong, is that they live their life every day terrified, petrified of the idea that they're going to experience discomfort. I will tell you here first, you're going to experience discomfort, like point blank period. I don't care how good your life is, how much money you have, how much whatever. Discomfort is a part of life. It doesn't matter. You could go to a pond, right? It's teeming. It's filled with, brimming with fish and frogs and all these things. But when the water goes stagnant and there's nothing there anymore, the fish die, everything starts to decay, right? There's always something that's seeking to destroy you at all times. And so now that once full pond that had all this life going on in it goes stagnant, and now it's a biohazard, right? There's all kinds of horrific things that are proliferating out of it, bacteria and fungi and disease, and it just, it continues to grow. There's always going to be growth. There's no such thing as something that stays static all the time. Even atoms are moving, right? You have to understand discomfort and change and movement is just in the nature of the game. What exists today might not exist tomorrow. That's why you have to live your life in the most potent way possible, right? The avoidance of discomfort is where your anxiety is sitting. On the financial side, right? Maybe you don't have the house. Maybe you don't have the car. Maybe you don't have the assets either. Maybe when your kids have field trips, you can only give them a little bit of money, not the amount of money that you want to give them, right? Or the Scholastic book fair, right? You only got a 20 for them, and you want to give them 200 so they can pursue whatever educational pathway they want, right? Maybe, you've been married for 20 years and you can't even afford to go out for a really nice dinner with your wife every month or every few months, right? It could be anything. There's just always something that you're like, man, I want more out of this. This can't be all, right? And every month it's the same thing. You run out of money before you run out of month, and you're sitting here and you're like, this sucks. This really, really sucks so bad. And I hate the way that I feel. It makes me feel small. It makes me feel insignificant. Trust me, I was there. I was there. And the hard pill to swallow is that you already have in this moment all of the talent and ability and capability to change your reality. The issue is you are trying to distract yourself. And let me tell you here first, folks, I can tell you with abject certainty, you will not find the answers that you're looking for at the bottom of a bottle. You won't find it on the edge of a lighter. Trust me, I looked. Believe me, right? You have to step away from all of the distractions. This world, the way that, like, especially American culture, I'm in America, so I'm going to only speak on American culture right now. The way that it's set up, we have a billion distractions, and all we do is, I use the term mammonism because if you've ever studied, like, demonology, or you know anything about, the Bible, you're a Christian, then you're familiar with Mammon. For those of you who are not, Mammon was a demon who is like one of the princes of hell. He is a consumer, the devourer, right? He just is insatiably greedy and just, it's disgusting, gluttonous, horrific, right? And America does a really great job of allowing mammonist principles to proliferate throughout our culture, right? So what do I mean? You consume all day to distract yourself. You might stress eat. You doom scroll on social media, just locked in on your phone. Maybe you watch reality television, or you're eating just a bunch of sugar, right? And it's just, you're making your body sick, and all you do is just consume. You go to work and you get involved in interpersonal work drama. You have all of this drivel just inundating your system all the time to distract you. And it's super easy to fall into that trap where it's like, well, everything sucks, so I'm just going to go ahead and spend, $30, $40 since it won't make a difference anyway, and I'm just going to do X or Y or Z. You know what I'm saying? I need my eighth. I need my whatever. Don't get me wrong. I get it. Like, I've been there. I love it just as much as the next person, but at a certain point of time, right, we have to ask ourselves, what are we doing? Like, what's really going on, right? We talk all the time and we say, oh my God, I love my wife. I love my husband. My kids are my world. I love them. I would die for them. But dying for family members, in my opinion, is the easy part. Dying for the people that you love is the easiest part. Would you live for them though? Like, just real spill. Like, would you be willing to suffer the pain of embarrassment, building out your own brand, and, taking a lot of time and effort and energy into creating something of value to give to the world, and be too embarrassed? I don't really want people to judge me or talk about me, or, you care too much about external validation. I could get 0 views on this video and I'm standing 10 toes down on it. I'm not taking it down. You have to embody that same energy. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? You can't outrun your demons, y'all. Like, when you're frustrated with your situation and you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, like, do you really expect for the win where you get the house, the car, maybe you're not in a relationship, you get the sexy partner where you're like, oh my God, you're racing in that sports car to get home because you know what's waiting on you, right? Are you expecting it to just fall into your lap? Like, some of you, sure, that might happen, and salutes to you if it is, but you have this anxiety in you, and it exists because it's telling you, what are we doing, bro? You have the ideas. Every time that you're scrolling on social media, you're doom scrolling, and then you get outraged about something. You're like, oh my God, these people are so stupid. If they would just do... Like, wake up. That's your brain telling you you have the solution to a problem. It's time for you to start building out the scaffolding and saying, okay, so this is the end goal over here. I'm starting from right here. I have to piece together, and you think it's going to be like this, A to to Z, right? But it's really like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, right? All the way through the whole alphabet until you get to that point. It's not linear. And you get so caught up trying to outrun your demons that you just sit there and spin your wheels, and you look up and all of a sudden you're 45, you're 55, your life is over. You're on your deathbed and you're trying to desperately communicate to your loved one like, hey, listen, the time, it's short. You think you've got a lot of time, but you don't. And you can't even communicate. You're so old. And then you pass on and, you're in the next realm, like game over. We only get one go around in this thing. And it's so difficult to cope with the idea that every day that you squish down what you truly are passionate about and you just say, well, I'm going to just doom scroll and everything sucks right now. But, rather than me actually make a plan, rather than me actually go ahead and say, this is what I'm going to do and understand that I'm going to run into roadblocks, but that doesn't stop the process. Every time you swallow that down, your anxiety gets worse and worse, right? So what do we do with this situation, Hunter? You're giving me all this information and you're saying all these things and it resonates with me, but like, so freaking what? I'm telling you right now, if you want to eliminate your anxiety problems, like genuinely eliminate your anxiety problems, number one, obviously, like you have to start making your plan, like I just said, but seek the discomfort. The way to defeat a demon, I don't know if like I keep using demons because it's a metaphor, but it's also like it's real. Like I need something that's tangible that really strikes fear into people's hearts, and demons can mean anything to anybody. The way to defeat demons is not from running. No one can outrun them. You're a human, it's not. Right? The way to defeat demons is to turn around and to look it square in its eyes and to take radical ownership of whatever that thing is and say, yeah, you know what? It is embarrassing. I did blow all this money and I went from being, potentially generationally wealthy to having literally nothing and having to start building from the ground up. I did do X and Y and Z. I was the kind of person that did this and that and the third. And you notice how you don't take the identity at present. You acknowledge what you've done, and the next step to get rid of that anxiety financially or physically or in your marriage or whatever is to go in and say, I'm taking a change. I'm building the body that I want. I'm building the mind that I want. So I'm concrete. Nothing is no negative thought can even enter my inner matrix because I am so solid. I honor the things. There's no more negotiating. If you want to genuinely get rid of anxiety and get rid of the demons that scare you about whatever the goals are that you've set for yourself, you can no longer negotiate with yourself on anything. It's a non-negotiable, period. What's that mean? Maybe you want to have a freaking six-pack. Why are we negotiating whether or not we're going on, a walk, right? I ruck every day. 70 pounds on my back and I walk 6 miles. Rain or shine. Sunny, cold. I've been outside last night and the night before that and the night before that from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. I'm out there walking. I make friends on my walks. When I'm doing them during the day, I wave to people. Like, you cannot negotiate. If that's what you really want and you're not just saying, oh, well, I want this just because I want it. Like, really decide what you want out of life. Okay? Because golly, like this indecision is what's killing you. Your mind is telling you exactly what you want to be, what you want to do, who you want to become. And all it takes to embody that person is to do those things. Anytime that you're met with a situation, you ask yourself, you sit back and you pause and you say, the version of myself that I want to be the most, how would he or she respond to this situation? It's not more complicated than that. And yeah, sometimes you're going to say, I think that she'd respond in this way, and it might not be the outcome that you wanted. And then you learn from it and you apply it over and over and over again. To apply something from my own life, something that, like you saw in the header, $200,000. You're like, Hunter, what? What happened? You guys that have been following me for a long time, you watched the buildup happen, right? I came into more money in my early 20s than I knew what to do with. Genuinely more money than I knew what to do with. And I thought that I could do it all and that I would always have sunny days. I didn't prepare for the rain when the sunshine was happening. That's why I browbeat every single video to you guys, because I want y'all to not make the mistakes that I did, because it was a hard couple of years with me coming to grips with my own demons. I went in and I said, okay, I'm going to pay off everybody's debt. I'm going to do all the things for my family and make sure that I've got everybody situated. And when it came down to it, I only had what little bit was left. And I thought, oh, you know what? I'm going to pivot. I'm going to try to throw all my chips in one basket. I'm just going to go for it. I can't miss right now. And I trusted the wrong people. And guess what? Swing and a miss. Whiffed it. Nothing but air. And it took a lot out of me. It took a lot of confidence. Like, yes, I developed an amazing and incredible skill to build up an investment portfolio. And I still, to this day, am able to do it. Thank God I had the skill and I knew what to do. But there was a time when I had to figure out, oh my God, like, this is terrible. And I had to cut back on a lot of my life expenses. I had to go and take my dad from a super expensive, I was paying like, golly, almost $12,000 a month for my dad to be in a nursing home. And I had to bring him and move him in with me. And I take care of him full time. I literally just got finished cleaning up all of his stuff. He has dementia. He has Alzheimer's. I have to make sure that I can operate at the peak efficiency every single day for him. I have people relying on me. I have to carry him. He can't walk. I have to carry him. I live in a 3-story like flat. Guess what? If he can't walk, I have to be strong enough and fit enough to make sure that I can carry him where he needs to go. Like, you have to accept that hard things are going to happen. It's not going to be ideal. If you thought that everything was going to be rosy and just peaches and gravy, everything is just so good. I hate to be the one to wake you up, but we got to work on this, okay? Anxiety simply comes from inaction and an inability, or no, not an inability, a refusal to face head on the problems that exist in your world. Because it's much easier to just click open your phone, tap on any of the little squares, and doom scroll away. It's so easy. It's so easy. And it's easy for after you've already had a long day of work to just throw in the towel and say, man, I'm tired. It's easy to go and get a pre-packaged, just seed oil filled, crappy, disgusting, whatever, and just shove it in your mouth and enjoy the quick dopamine hit and veg out and do nothing and stare off into space. But you are here because there's something valuable that you can contribute to this world. Otherwise, it wouldn't be you. It would be somebody else that was here. And you and your soul, your spirit, who you are, would not be in this plane. I know that this seems like something so far outside of finance, and you're like, Hunter, like, you're kind of losing me here. But all of this, it all comes together, y'all. Man, oh man. This is the thing that I need you to understand the most. If you are seriously anxious and you have problems in your life that wake you up in a cold sweat every night, and you're just like, oh my God, if I could just get one night's rest, if I could just get one night's rest, Lord, you're just praying. Like, literally, there were days where I was like, I feel like the biggest loser on the earth. I just took a fat L, and now I have people that are depending on me, people that are relying on me, and I'm failing them too. But you have to act your way out of the situation. When I say act, I don't mean put on a fake little mask and pretend like everything's okay. No. I mean, you have to make a plan. You have to say, okay, I'm making my exit plan today. This is where I want to be over here. I want to have this life. I envision this. I know this is capable, which, mind you, anything that you can come up with out here, your brain doesn't just come up with things and say, that could never happen. It comes up with them because it's possible for you to. Somewhere, right? Anybody who believes in quantum physics, somewhere there is a version of you that's doing that thing, right? So the only way for you to move into that timeline, and I know we're getting real like metaphysical here, but just bear with me. The only way for you to move there is for you to start acting every single day and behaving as you would when you were living that life. What are you doing day to day in that most ideal version of yourself? Why don't you go into the detail? Why don't you lean into the fantasy? Instead of doom scrolling, lean into the fantasy and say, okay, what is she doing? What am I doing today? What is he doing today, right? What's happening? And they say, oh, well, that version of me has a business that sells this and makes X million dollars per year. Holy shit, we just did it. We figured it out. That's what we're going to do. Now you take that and you extrapolate it. Okay, what are the things that we need? Well, first I have to make sure that I have my product, right? Maybe it's a digital product. Boom, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make that digital product. I'm going to put it on Gumroad. Okay, I need to make sure that I can, take the money and receive the money because, taxes, the tax man's real. So if I'm not receiving, Bitcoin, then I guess I got to set up a EIN, get a business bank account. Don't go pay somebody for it. Do the reading, do the research. Instead of doom scrolling, do the reading, right? Actually, that's how you can doom scroll. Doom scroll and read all the information so that way you set your entity up right. Set it up in Texas, set it up in Delaware. I don't know, wherever you want to set it up that makes the most sense based off of the research that you do. And then take those documents, those articles of incorporation, whatever you got, go down to the bank and open up your account. Boom. Your account's set up. You're receiving those payouts through Gumroad, right? I think back in the day they used to come out on like Thursday nights or something like that. I was in California, so I don't know what it is now. It's been far too long for me to remember or, care to look it up. But what I care about for you is, boom, you now have the base layer of, okay, this is my game plan. I have my product. It's able to be purchased, and now I have a place for the money to go. Now it's a matter of you just getting up and being consistent, because people always think it takes some kind of large radical action one time to be able to make this happen. But honestly, sometimes it's just in the consistency. It's just in you being able to say, I'm going to outlast. Like this motivation that I have right now to get this done, I'm going to continue to keep doing what I'm doing at this level or greater, right? As my ability, my skill set increases, whether I feel like it or not. Because there's going to be days where you're not going to feel like it. I can tell you firsthand from someone who's built a business and made money. Like I'm not saying I've made millions and millions of dollars yet. There will be a day where, I'll sit down here and I'm going to be like, all right, this is how it happened. This is how I made my first 10 mil. But that's not today. It will be in the future, but it's not today. And that's okay, because I'm still on the pathway to become that version of Hunter that's going to do those things, that's going to make radical changes in the lives of millions of people and add value to the lives of millions of people. Please do not get caught up in what's around you, what you can see here. Okay? Sometimes you have to see here. You have to look with this, not with these. Because if you look with these only, you're never going to see outside of what's directly in front of you, and you're going to miss the forest for the trees. You're going to miss the big picture, okay? Anxiety is literally your brain trying desperately to say, hey, this is the problem, and I think we can come up with some solutions if we can just kind of like focus on a plan to deconstruct this problem. Not ruminate on the problem and say, oh, woe is me, look at these problems in my life. Oh, God, and it could be like this. Oh, and it could be like this. No, it's not to create scenarios in your mind that could happen, that haven't even happened. You're just extrapolating the worst case scenario. If you decide to ruminate on your problem with the worst case scenario, I challenge you to do this. Ruminate on the best case scenario. What would happen? Like, oh my God, every month is just so hard and I'm running out of money. What happens if you take that skill that you learned as a kid, or maybe even in your job currently, and you were able to monetize it, and the best case scenario happened, you were able to help 50,000 people, and those 50,000 people each paid you $10, and now all of a sudden all of your problems with money disappear. And now if you play your cards right, the interest alone off of what you've done, you could coast and live a great life off of just the interest. It doesn't have to be a $10 billion mega corporation that you're building. If that's what you want, then that's great. But just start. Like, we do all of this procrastinating. We make it this big to do, and we're running and running and running. We're so scared, and we're, oh my God, the demons. Oh my God, it's closer. It's getting closer. And then we turn around and face it, and it's this little bitty thing. And we say, oh my God, I ran for years away from this. And you squish that shit. And you squish it. And you stomp on it. And you say, anywho. And you keep doing what you're doing. And you thug it out. And you keep going. And you win anyway. everybody's so worried about, oh my God, this is going to be so cringe. These people have to, I have to be cool. I have to do this. Bro, I hope y'all see the production quality. I'm going to leave these videos up, and like 5 years from now, whenever I've got my own studio and my stuff is blowing up and y'all are like, yo, how did she do it? Y'all are going to see my little dingy space I got over here. It's not about being perfect. It's about being willing to start and actually moving your feet. Like, sometimes I feel like I get too far ahead talking about finance and financial history and all these things because, that's good to know, but you gotta act, right? You have to be able to actually have movement in your own life. And I have to be able to give you guys practical steps to be able to say, like, okay, write out your problems. Write out, your problems on one side and all the things you want on the other. And reverse engineer, go backwards both ways and figure out, okay, so if I do this, then I'll get this. And from this, I'll need this, but then I can get to this, and this, and this, and this. And all of a sudden, you get exactly to where you want to be. Stop treating yourself like you're a freaking idiot that's incapable of figuring out how to solve the problems that you've got. The moment that you can decide for yourself that the problems that you're currently facing are not bigger than you is also the moment that you'll get bigger problems. But guess what comes with bigger problems? Bigger rewards. Okay? You're boxing yourself in right now. And the reason why you always have the same problems is because you keep avoiding the same problems. You're not ready to level up yet. You're so upset that you're not there. You're not ready for the problems that come with a $600,000 supercar. You're not ready for the problems that come from a $10 million house. You're not ready for the problems that come from having inventory for 70,000 units and 500 customers are upset because it shipped and the package is damaged. And you have to figure out in the next 48 hours how to respond to those people and get the stuff out there because you haven't even hired anybody yet. You weren't ready. You didn't know all of these things. So why are you getting upset with yourself that you're not there when you're not even willing to take on the small problems that are existing in your life, bro? Like, I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to me too. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Like, you can't be mad about where you're at when you haven't done the work to grow, to become the version of you in the future. Like, there is no, like, cute little unicorn fart pill that you can just take and then be the version of you that has those things. The journey to become that version of you is where the real value is. That's where you become, oh my God, like this is me. The consistency, the time in the game, right? We talk about it all the time with, timing the market is not as good as time in the market. Why don't we apply it to our life? Why don't we apply it to more aspects of our life than just dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin or the S&P? Like, I need you to take the time today to lay all of your junk mail out. Like, literally, I need you to take a piece of paper right now and pause this video after I say this. Write down every single thing that's causing you anxiety, period. And be willing and radically accountable with yourself and say, you know what? This is a problem. I have to fix it. Why am I 150 pounds overweight and I got 2 kids under the age of 14? I have to do something if I want to be in their life, if I want to see them get married and have their own kids and be able to play with my grandkids. I don't want to be just a story that's told around the Thanksgiving dinner table once a year to my grandkids and they have no idea or no clue what it's like. Like, these are real problems. People forget that they are a first player character in their own story. Like, you can be who you want to be. That is the joy in this life. You don't have to be the nerd, the weak man, the woman who's always a damsel in distress. You can be who you want to be, but you have to make that decision and you have to commit to that decision and you have to stop giving yourself an out every single time that things get tough, because the reason why you're so dissatisfied with so many things in your life is because every single time you start doing that negotiation thing and you never stick to any of the stuff that you tell yourself you're gonna do. So you know what your mind says? Oh, you want $1 million? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I bet you do. I bet you want a 6-pack too, huh? I bet you want a vacation in Bora Bora for a month, huh? And then you scroll on to the next video and you just keep scrolling and you just keep smoking away. And then you just keep, I'm just going to go ahead and get super drunk because I can't really cope with everything that's happening. And listen, y'all know me. I love a shindig. I love to get down. I'm a smoke. I'm a drink. I'm a do me. But I'm saying to you, don't let those things, don't let the distractions stop you from doing what you got to do. You still got to get it done. Every single day, you got to cash that check, baby. You've got to. Your mind is listening. Your mind is watching. And the moment that you stop holding yourself accountable, it's going to deviate and it's going to just say, they don't mean it. Whatever. Yeah. Don't we all? Everybody wants that. But what happens whenever you say, oh no, I want that. I want that vacation in Bora Bora. I want that house and that car. I want that in my marriage to look like this. I want my whatever to look like that. You're going to say to yourself that you want those things, and your brain is going to say, you commit to everything that you say that you want. And the person who commits to the things that they say that they want, like eventually, you know what I'm saying? Like, they get what they want. It's just a matter of time. Like, you can only, you might take an L. I look at it the same way. With all that money, that $200,000 I gave away just to all my family and getting, the money taken from me from an investment friend. Like, it's just, you know what I'm saying? You just got to kind of charge the game. If I didn't have these experiences happen, I wouldn't be the version of me today that's actually willing to be vulnerable enough to talk about it. I would still feel shame and I would still feel guilt and I would still be feeling all these things. What is that useful for? What if I could just use it to help somebody? Like, what if I could just not be embarrassed and ashamed to be like, I was in my early 20s. I blew it. But if I got it back then when I was freaking stupid, then what can I do now? When I'm smart, I know more now than I did back then, for damn sure. Makes a big difference. So all that to say, you know what I'm saying? I've been yapping at y'all for half an hour. I just need y'all to lock in. The key to the dissolving or the dissolution of anxiety is radical action. It's planning and it's action. You can do it. I know you can. I know this was a little bit different from the usual conversations that we have, but I know that there's someone that's going to see this video who needs it badly. And I'm here to tell you today in my mama voice that you got it, but you got to decide, and you have to no longer negotiate with yourself, because the moment that you tell your brain, oh, also I'm not going to give myself a little leeway, you will be amazed at the things that you're capable of. Consistent, small, good decisions. It will take you so far. I am living, breathing proof of small, good decisions taking you so far. My life is immeasurably richer now, taking care of my family, being responsible for my health, being responsible for my wealth, like on a big way, and not just spending it on frivolous bullshit that I don't really need. Like, it's a rich life, y'all. It's a rich life. And there's so much more to life than being focused on a bill that's coming due or whatever it is that you're afraid of. There's so much more to life. So with that being said, take this information, listen to it, maybe listen to it a couple times, you know what I'm saying? And really get honest with yourself. And after you get honest with yourself and you made the plan, just go do it. Whatever time you got. If you only got 3 hours of your day left after work, you got to eat for one of them, and family, you might need a little time with your family. You got an hour and a half to just lock in. You can do this. The life that you want is on the other side of that decision and the other side of that consistency. And it won't happen necessarily fast. Maybe for some of you it will. But what will happen is that it will happen for certain. If you're in the game long enough. I'm in the game. I'm going to make it. Get in the game. Okay? Love y'all. If you found anything interesting in this and you're like, oh, you know what? She was spitting. You know what I'm saying? This was good. This was good. I'm going to take some time to reflect. Leave me a comment below. I want to chat with you. Give me a like. Share the video with a family member. Share it with a friend. Share it with whoever. But yeah, until next time, y'all, all my love and all my vulnerability. Wherever you are, whenever you are, however you are, I hope you're good. Love Hunter out. Peace.